you appear to say that the survivors were not credible. These are survivors.
That's not at all what I said.
Okay, great. I'm going to ask you this in a second, but let me tell you about the survivors, and let's bring them up here into the room. These are women who came to the Hill and testified that they were groomed and raped at the age of 14 and 16 years old, and they called to meet with the president and to meet with the FBI and to have people investigate their claims. Some of them have never testified before. If you are so interested in getting the public to submit any information, why have you not met with them? You said you haven't met with them. Have you met with them? I'll give you one more chance.
My job as the FBI director is to invite
Is
all
the answer yes or no
leads
to whether or not you met with these women who were sexually abused and raped?
Any insinuation by you or any people on your side that I am not manhunting child predators and sex traffickers, just look at the stats. And you talk about cover-ups, man.
Mr. Chairman,
you talk about cover-ups.
And I will take as much time as I want.
Where were you?
Today on Capitol Hill, Representative Jayapal clashed with FBI Director Kash Patel over the Epstein files. It's a study in promise, perception, and power. For months, Kash Patel publicly promised full disclosure about the Jeffrey Epstein material. No cover-ups, no missing documents, no stone left unturned, he said on social media and in interviews. The Department of Justice and the FBI later reported that searches turned up more than 300 gigabytes of files and images, yet the public release was limited, and the official line shifted to no further disclosure appropriate or warranted. That abrupt change of tone is exactly what raises alarm bells. When leaders pledge transparency and then tighten the shutters, citizens have a right to ask why.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Patel, before you joined the FBI, you had very strong opinions about what the FBI was hiding regarding Jeffrey Epstein. In a September 2023 interview with Glenn Beck, you said the Black Book is under the, quote, direct control of the director of the FBI. In December 2023, you said, let us know who the pedophiles are. Even for a short time after becoming FBI director, in February of 2025, you tweeted, quote, there will be no cover-ups, no missing documents, no stone left unturned. In June, you told Joe Rogan, quote, we've reviewed all the information, we're gonna give you every single thing we have and can. But then suddenly in July, everything changed. You and Attorney General Pam Bondi released one video and said that there was nothing more to see. Your July memo says you uncovered more than 300 gigabytes of data and physical evidence, but that you had decided no further disclosure would be appropriate or warranted. That is a quote. I think what happened, Mr. Patel, is that suddenly you discovered that Donald Trump's name was all over these files, and you started a giant cover-up. So you are under oath, Mr. Patel. You just testified to Mr. Swalwell that you did not speak to the president about the Epstein files. To your knowledge, did Attorney General Pam Bondi speak to the president about what was in the Epstein files?
I can't speak for Attorney General Pam Bondi.
So to your knowledge, you don't have any information. The question was, do you have any knowledge? Do you have any knowledge?
I can't speak.
You are refusing to answer the question, so let me tell you that the Wall Street Journal reported that in May, Bondi told Trump that he was in the Epstein files, and at the same meeting said that the DOJ did not plan to release the files. Yesterday, you testified to Senator Kennedy that there was, quote, no credible information that Epstein trafficked girls to anyone else, and that you have, quote, continuously and publicly asked the public to come forward with more information, and we'll look into it.
Here's what matters most. This is not an abstract debate about documents. These are files tied to survivors who say they were groomed, trafficked, and raped as minors. When members of Congress, in this case Representative Jayapal and others, pressed Patel about whether survivors were credible and whether he had met with them, the frustration was plain.
During the Obama and Biden administrations, when these so-called cover-ups were going on, why did anyone in those administrations talk to any of these purported witnesses? I have welcomed every single person to provide credible information.
Time belongs to the gentlelady from Washington.
And I'm going to take another couple of minutes.
When you accuse the witness of something, he's allowed to respond. That's how it works.
Listen, he didn't even, excuse me, Mr. Chairman, you have always been fair, but this is not fair. No, this is my time, and he said that the witnesses were not credible.
Seconds of time.
I'm going to get an additional minute of time because that's how much time he took.
You won't get a minute. You'll get some seconds. What we think is under 5 minutes. You don't get to demand how much time you get. That's not how it works.
Mr. Patel, are the victims of the Jeffrey Epstein horrific trafficking ring, are they credible?
Any person with information about ongoing sexual trafficking.
I'm asking you if they're credible.
Ma'am, I'm commenting on the evidence we have.
But
we have routinely asked for people to come forward with more evidence, and we will look at it. And the evidence that we have was the same evidence that the Biden and Obama Justice Departments had. And they determined, not me, they determined that that information was not credible.
Chairman, he's not letting me even ask my questions.
You ask the questions, he gives an answer. You may not like what he says, but that doesn't mean you get to interrupt him.
He's not answering my question.
Mr. Chairman, could we restore the gentlelady 45 seconds so she can
We'll give her
complete
additional 30 seconds, which is what I said
I'm going
earlier.
to keep taking my time. Because
you'll take the time that you get.
You
get
are
30
not
seconds.
answering the question. The question
I have. You just don't like the answer.
Are these women credible? It's a yes or no answer.
I have answered the question.
Well,
and
what
I
is
keep
the
telling
answer?
you, I'm the only FBI director that has welcomed new information in this case. This administration is the only one that has welcomed any new information in this case.
Is there a yes or no to
Present
whether the
new credible
victims are
information. Present new information.
Are the victims credible or not?
I'll tell you what happened in the last Trump administration.
Are they credible or not? You can't even say.
Victims credibly came forward, and you know what happened? President Trump authorized the indictments of Jeffrey Epstein.
Called them
not Biden,
a hoax.
not Obama.
President Trump
no one else.
called the entire thing a Democratic hoax. So I would like to ask
the gentlelady's time has expired. I gave her the additional 45 seconds she requested. The gentlelady yields back. The gentleman from New Jersey is recognized for his 5 minutes.
If you would meet with the women who were sexually abused and raped and groomed at the ages of 14 and 16 years old. Are you going to cover up? Are you going to continue to cover up for the rich and powerful men, including those that might be on this committee?
I can yell too, Mr. Chairman, but I don't want to yell above this.
The time belongs to the gentleman from New Jersey. I appreciate the gentlelady yielding back.
Are you going to allow them to testify, Mr. Patel?
Go ahead,
Will you allow them to testify to you, Mr. Patel?
Mr. Patel, thank you for being here.
The right question for the Attorney General or FBI Director is not a rhetorical "prove it to me," but a trauma-informed, survivor-centered approach. Have you offered to meet them? Have you ensured they have the support and protections they need to come forward? Saying we welcome information from a podium is not the same as actually listening to people who lived through abuse and ensuring their voices are treated with dignity. That's why the committee's insistence on hearings and meetings is both humane and necessary. There are procedural questions here that every citizen should understand. When an agency says it has reviewed all the information and then chooses to release only a portion of it, Congress has tools to review whether that decision was appropriate. Document requests, subpoenas, inspector general inquiries, and in-camera review by courts when sensitive material is claimed to be protected. If the FBI says the evidence shows nothing new, the committee can and should demand to see the evidence in a manner that protects victims, but also allows independent verification. That's how oversight turns promises into facts. We also need to be honest about the politics. The public has watched officials promise transparency during interviews and then produce narrow releases. That gap, promise versus product, breeds suspicion. Some government reviews have explicitly addressed long-standing theories around Epstein's client list, with a recent federal review finding no evidence of a secret client list, while confirming the tragic reality of the crimes and the need for accountability. Whether that conclusion persuades everyone or not, the proper response from leaders is to show the work behind their judgment, the search logs, the forensic reports, the chain of custody records that demonstrate no documents were suppressed. Transparency diffuses conspiracy by replacing rumor with paperwork. But let's return to what should be the moral center: survivors. Many women who stepped forward described being groomed at 14 and 16. They sought meetings with law enforcement and did not always feel heard. That's a failure not just of process, but of compassion. An independent, accountable DOJ should prioritize outreach, explain what was found, explain what was not found, and give survivors the chance to point to unexplored leads, while protecting their privacy and safety. That is not political, it is human. If you care about both justice and the integrity of institutions, and you should, here's what to demand from your elected officials right now. Ask your senators and representatives to 1. Demand the full, redacted forensic inventory and search logs that explain how those 300-plus gigabytes were cataloged and reviewed. 2. Require an inspector general review or a scoped independent audit if there's reason to doubt the thoroughness of the search. 3. Compel in-camera review by a judge if there are legitimately sensitive materials, rather than burying the outcome in press statements. And 4. Ensure survivors are offered trauma-informed interviews, support services, and a clear channel to provide any additional information safely. Those steps protect both victims and the public's right to know. Finally, don't let this become another moment you shrug away. Politics is not an inert backdrop. It shapes whether investigations are pursued fully or shelved quietly. When an agency's leadership flips from "release everything" to "no further disclosure," demand the paperwork. When survivors ask to be heard, insist they be treated with care and seriousness. If you want to help immediately, call or email your senators and ask them to press for the records and for survivor outreach.